we're discussing two matters. First, the newly released or approved 26 billion naira by the federal government to the electricity distribution companies in Nigeria. And also we'll be discussing the recently botched attempt to export yams to the United States of America, and the U.S. has rejected those yams, plenty of them, on account of poor quality. So I have two gentlemen in the on the show tonight in the studio with me to discuss these two issues. I have Mr. Toby Loba. He's Toby Loba Kolawale. He's a public affairs analyst. Thank you for joining us on State of the Nation.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Kaida.
I also have Mr. Babatunde Ogunyemi, who is an experienced exporter, and he'll be talking about the botched attempts to export yams to the United States. When you heard this matter, what was your first response?
Well, I wasn't surprised. It was just waiting to happen. You know, it's exportation of agri-produce cannot just be done by anybody. It has processes and procedures we must follow in terms of the production. Exportation of yams does not start from harvesting and selection of yams. It starts from seed selection, land preparation, right into cultivation, field management, and post-harvest, processes. So it's just something waiting to happen. Everybody wants to get into the sphere of exportation of fresh produce or agri-produce, and it's a niche. It has to be done right. We cannot just go to the market, buy yams, put them in boxes, and send them abroad. These are countries that have standards. These are countries that want compliance. And why? If Ghana can get it right, why can't we in Nigeria even get it better? And even do it better. It's not a complicated process. You understand? It's just putting us in a light that is not palatable for anybody. We need to come back. We need to look at lessons learned. We need to make sure our exit points have these agencies that ensures that we meet compliance, you understand, without any form of favoritism.
I'll come back to you.
Thank you.
To talk about those things that could make a potentially honest exporter to get into this kind of trouble. But before then, the federal government has said we are releasing 26 billion naira to export to discos in the country, and they are now saying they owe us 500 billion naira. What kind of, is this political? What kind of game is going on here?
Well, Kaida, thank you. First and foremost, you introduced me as a public affairs analyst, but it's public relations expert.
All right. Commenting on public affairs.
Okay, great.
I'm not giving you a title just based on why you're on the program.
Okay, great.
Well, that's fine.
All right, let's go. And then to the issue of the 26 billion naira, I do not see us moving forward, really. And permit me to start this way. You say we have a culture of impunity and vested interest so much, within us as a nation. You'll find out that virtually in all the things that we do, at all levels of government, even the corporate organizations, it's all about vested interests, what I stand to gain, and doing things, with no sense of patriotism, so to say. Now, with this issue of 26 billion naira released to the discourse, I do not see us moving forward. It's like we are continuing to dance in a circle. The discourse are owing 500 billion. The government is owing the discourse 26 billion naira. So you will realize that there's no cash that is being exchanged. However, so it is going to be offset from what the discourse would have to remit to the government. So it still leaves the discourse at where they are currently. Now, mind you, if you will recall, earlier this year, I think about April or May, the Senate discussed the issue of the discourse, where majority of those who spoke at the Senate proceeding that particular time, make clear that with the current structure, as it were, in the electricity sector, we cannot have lights. It's like the discos do not even have enough money, funding, to even move, whatever project it is that will ensure that Nigerians have uninterrupted power supply. So we're just still at the same spot.
All right, Mr. Babatunde, what is the implication? America doesn't take what their people eat for lightly. What is the implication of this for Nigeria?
Kayode, no country should take what their people eat lightly.
Not like we do.
Actually, you see, the implication is really damning. And Nigeria as a nation, I am confident that we can get it right. Okay? What are the implications? The implications is that every cargo that comes from Nigeria is scrutinized, even furthermore, because they need to ensure that Nigeria can meet up to gaining that confidence. Where a container of yams comes into the United States, and it's not an irregular cargo anymore. Those are the implications we're having. We need to look at the infractions that has led to these problems, right? And actually do a lessons learned. There is no exporter that does not know what the standards are, right? Now, why can't people or exporters be ethical enough to follow processes?
In this case, are you suggesting that in this case, the exporter did what is right, but the system messed him up? Are you suggesting that?
No, I'm not saying that, because from experience, it's my sector. I understand the sector very well. From experience, exporters cut corners. Okay? Now, we have regulatory bodies that should actually be the referees, right, to determine any exporter that wants to cut corners. Okay? It is not rocket science. If a produce is awesome and meets exportable standards, there are some other infractions that is not within the powers or the control of the exporter. Infrastructure, for instance. Any country that is really serious about agricultural exportation must have dedicated terminals, both at our seaports and at our airports. At the end of the day, those two agri-produce terminals is probably and mostly in existence, right? We need to just go back to the basics. It is not rocket science. In fact, I'm actually proposing that private sector investment, right, should drive all this.
Thank you very much. Before we round this off, Mr. Tobiloba, tell me, 26 billion is what the government said it comes down to. But the DISCO said the government was owing 70 billion. It shows that there's also it suggests some padding. What do you say to that? It suggests both ways there seems to be some form of insincerity.
Yes, I would agree with you about some level of insincerity. You see, for the privatization to have gotten this far, of course, you would want to believe that there was a performance agreement, and then there were terms. That is, these are clearly the things I would do, and that is on the part of the discourse or the investors, and of course on the part of the government. But you would agree with me that as of now, we really cannot say for sure if both parties are being true to what they have agreed to do in terms of, injecting. The government said they will inject 100 billion, and of course, a whole lot of issues here and there. So it's a whole lot of insincerity. So, but clearly, to round off, I would say that both parties should put the interests of Nigerians, at heart. That's a very good place to wrap it up. Gentlemen, thank you for coming on the program State of the Nation. We've run out of time. I've had with me Mr. Tobiloba Kolawole, a public relations expert. I also have Mr. Babatunde Ogunyemi, an exporter. Thank you both for coming on the program State of the Nation. It's a wrap on the program tonight. Many thanks for watching. I'm Kayode Alayande. Bye now.